we now have a very special emerging brand spotlight. I just saw one person leave the room. They're going to regret it. In this session, we'll hear BERO's origin story, and we'll take a look at what BERO has accomplished in just 6 short months, the milestones, the magic, and even a few moments that have surprised the founders. With over 20 years of brand building experience, John Herman has had success building consumer brands from apparel to energy drinks. Most recently, he served as Nutribolt's president, overseeing global sales, marketing, and product development and innovation. During his time at C4, it experienced incredible growth. KDP ended up investing in it. We'll talk to Bob Gamgord about that later today. And it's on the rise. But John didn't come by himself today. John's co-founder needs no introduction. He is a globally recognized icon whose films have grossed $9.9 billion, making him one of the highest grossing actors of all time. Tom Holland is best known for his role as Peter Parker in the Spider-Man franchise. He is just off an incredible run on the West End stage as Romeo in the sold-out production of Romeo and Juliet. He has starred in countless other critically acclaimed roles, including the Apple TV Plus series, The Crowded Room. He is currently, I can't wait to see this one, he is currently the lead in Christopher Nolan's highly anticipated project. Tom has a deep commitment to his roots and an immense appreciation and respect for never forgetting where he came from. The man whose lifestyle, values, and journey have been the North Star for BERO's creation and mission. Please welcome Beverage Forum to the stage, John Herman and Tom Holland.
Well, your left hand's free and your right hand grip with another left hand watches right hand slip. Schwartz is gone.
Oh, you got that.
Neoomgg Wiz girl, you're the one for me. Though your man's bigger than I am, all my days he disagrees.
Do you know how hard it was to keep it a secret that you were showing up today?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I did think you ushered me into the back pretty quickly. I didn't know what that was about.
Keep it on the DL, and I think we did an okay job. It's been great. Thanks so much for coming, John. You know, one thing that we see time and time again is we see celebrities and creators launch a brand and fail because they don't have a real operator in the room, and it's incredible what you're doing with BERO. Thank you. But Tom, can you tell us about the origin story and how you got into this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the birth of BERO, to me, feels like a real diamond in the rough. It's all of the best things about me born out of the worst things. And I had a pretty, intense alcohol problem, and I got sober, and I was on this journey of discovery and trying to figure out how I could fit into, the nightlife world, and I was really struggling to find a product that would help me feel included. As a celebrity, I'd been approached loads of times to start tequila brands or vodkas or clothing lines and all this sort of stuff. And I never found anything that really rang true to who I was. And it wasn't until I got sober that I felt this immense passion and drive to try and find something or create something that would help me fit in. And so I met, our lovely partners, Imaginary in New York, where we spoke about the idea of building something from the ground up. John and I met very early on, and I think we shared the same, ambitions and aspirations to create something new, refreshing, and we sort of started from scratch. I mean, it was a real blank canvas. There was nothing, not even a name when we started. And
how'd you come up with the name?
Well, we were working with some great creatives, and honestly, sometimes the best name and the best idea is the one right in front of you. So, BERO. One, it's trademarkable, which is wonderful if you're starting a brand.
Hard to do these days, yeah.
It sounds like beer, but then you think of Zero, you think of Spider-Man and Hero.
Genius.
And if you look at it the right way, and maybe if you're a little dyslexic, sober. Which, while we're not targeting sobriety,
I'm
BERO,
dyslexic,
Hero.
so he's allowed to say that. That's fine.
So that authenticity, Tom, and we'll come back to that because we see so many celebrities launch brands that aren't authentic, and I really, truly believe that's why this is working so well. Tell us about the 3 SKUs.
So we have 3 SKUs. We have a Noon Wheat, which is, you know, your wheat beer. We have the Kingston Golden Pils, which is our kind of take on a lager or a Pilsner. And then we have the Edge Hill West Coast, Edge Hill IPA. The Kingston Pils is where I grew up. It's where all my brothers and I were born in Kingston Hospital. Noon Wheat, Noon is my dog. That's kind of self-explanatory, yeah. Right. And then Edge Hill is a hill in Wimbledon, and on top of that hill is the school I went to, which really formed me into kind of the young man I am today. So it felt like a nice nod to the teachers of Donhead School.
Wow, so that's just another little Easter egg of authenticity that just rings true with the brand.
And a great range of flavor too. So in a world where everything is IPA and craft, like, yeah, we do have a great hazy IPA, but you know, what is more beer than a great lager? And then early on, our brewmaster, he loves wheat. And when we created the wheat, I think everyone thought, oh, that's a tertiary SKU, but it will become the one that you love and want to repeat on.
It's become my favorite for sure. I drink it all the time.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, I drink it all the time.
Amazing. So, you know, Athletic kind of built up this category, and then we saw a lot of copycats come in and zigging the same way. You guys have really zagged. And the style of your brand is just, I mean, take Tom Holland out of it. Just the style and the look of it. How did you land on that? Did you have that vibe in your head, or?
I mean, I think it was always about, you know, the market research we did and looking at everything that was out there and trying to find that gap in the market. And for us, while there was lots of great products out there, it felt like what was missing was something that was premium. Something that could exist in, you know, the nicest restaurants in the world, but also be drank in your local pub. Some of the things I love about like a Stella Artois or something like that is that you can drink it in the Ritz or you can drink it in a pub. So for me, it was about creating a brand that kind of belonged to everyone.
Right.
And, you know, could be at the top and, you know, be in a pub.
Yeah. It really does so well on the shelf too, especially in your multi-pack. It's really incredible.
And the research, you know, you see all of the consumer trends of drinking less or sobriety or sober curious. But ultimately, for the category to really matter at scale, we needed to drive a brand that could increase how many consumers are participating in it. How do we make a beer drinker or a wine drinker want to pick this up? And we need to be incremental to the category. And ultimately, us being in the category along with brands like Athletic or Heineken, like, it's all very complementary to each other to help build something that could be really meaningful.
Amazing. So you guys are 6 months in. We had the launch party in New York. That was amazing. I brought my daughter, and she got to meet your girlfriend. And so I was father of the year, at least for that weekend. So how's it been going? 6 months in, like, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know much about business because I'm an actor, but I think it's going really well. I think it's going really, really good, guys. I'll leave it over to John to answer that question.
You know, I think when we launched, the big question was, first, will they think this is authentic? Will they think it's just another sponsored by type relationship? And on day one, you know, people got it. You know, they have been following Tom's story for a year and a half at that point in time. So they immediately saw the brand was real to him and authentic. Then, you know, there was the nervous energy of, will they like the branding? Will they like the positioning? Will they like the beer itself? And immediately, like, consumers loved it. You know, we were getting great feedback. That premium positioning really felt differentiated. And now the repeat rate, the reviews we're getting, people are enjoying the beer, which is most important. Coming to this year, and it was about like scaling it, and we've had like some tremendous partners on the retail side that have really been incremental to our success, everything from Target to Sprouts and Total Wine and more. So yeah, so far so good. It's been pretty incredible.
Amazing. All 3 of those retailers are here today. I think we have something to look at that kind of talks about it. Can we show that?
We kind of had this idea of building our own product, and it's been one of the most enjoyable things I've ever done. It's just good content. I sort of sit around and try beers. I'm really happy in terms of the starting point.
I'm Grant Wood. I'm the brewmaster for BERO. 4 ingredients: water, malt, hops, yeast. Bring them together and put it out for your enjoyment.
Working with the creative department, figuring out what we want the company to represent. The green is the Kingston Pils, classic take on a Pilsner. Kingston is is where I grew up, so that kind of represents home.
Something like this is really quite awkward. Try my beer.
I want to talk about this. This is a big kind of cool thing that you're doing now. It's a non-alcoholic beer.
Yes.
It's called BERO. Explain to me how you got here and what is it?
It wasn't until I got sober I thought to myself, wouldn't it be a great thing if I could turn not only my sobriety into a great thing for my lifestyle, but a great thing for my future and a tool for other people. So for me, it's not about what it doesn't have, it's what about you gain from having it.
Awesome. Very cool. So, looking back at everything you've built, what milestone has made it feel real?
I think for me, like people from my community, from the sober community, reaching out and sort of expressing how much they're enjoying BERO or how much kind of freedom it brings them in the kind of social environments we find ourselves in has been really rewarding. You know, as an actor, when someone enjoys your movie, it's great, but when your movie means something to someone, that's what makes it really special. Right. And I think the same for BERO. When I've had those interactions, it's made it really, really feel like such a worthy cause.
What's one thing that BERO's done that you didn't think was possible?
I mean,
Well, we launched on the time we said we were going to launch.
yeah.
That's rare.
Yeah, I think we had our first real kickoff strategic meeting in, I think it was like middle of January of 2024. Everybody loved the strategy, the positioning, the idea, and at the end it was kind of like, that all looks great, you're never going to launch when you're saying stop burning cash.
Yeah.
And we left the meeting, and I kind of pulled the team aside, which was tiny at the time, and I said, we got to prove them wrong, right? So we hit the ground running. We tried a lot of beer, and it took a while before we found one that we just loved.
Yeah,
and
it did not taste good to begin
No.
with. It took us a minute to get there.
Yeah, so launching on time was one, and then there was that moment right when we were putting the the Instagram page live, and I was FaceTiming with Tom, and there was this nervous energy between both of us where it was like, all right, this is going out to the public, and that moment was just, I'll never forget it. It was a really, really emotional moment.
Amazing. Has there been any feedback either from a consumer or a retailer that's kind of stayed with you where you felt like, wow, we made something?
I think the thing that I'm really excited about is the kind of global response to the brand, is people online kind of reaching out from every corner of the world, sort of saying when can we get this here? One of the reasons why we expedited releasing in London was because there was such a huge demand in the UK to try to get it there. Again, it really spoke to the authenticity of what this brand is and why it means so much to me. But to see something that is desired kind of all over is really, really exciting. Right. And I know for us, as two guys that want to grow this and hopefully build it into a global brand, it's really nice knowing that potential is there.
So I think a lot of us saw that video of you actually delivering beer.
Yeah.
That's what made it real for me when I'm like, holy cow, Spider-Man's delivering beer. This is incredible. So let's dive into the team and how you all work together. And John, you're an expert at this. You've built teams at C4, but how does it work? Tell me about the team. Building a brand is one thing. Building a team is a whole another thing.
I think on day one, having a vision of the culture you want the company to become one day, I think that was really important to me. Coming from a company like Nutrabolt and C4, for 8 years, I saw the strength of what that can represent. I worked with so many smart people, lifetime friends that I will never forget those experiences. So I wanted to take all of the good with that to make sure that we could build that again. Simultaneously, when you manage a company of 650 plus people, you start to understand what you don't want too.
Right.
And ultimately, I think it really came down to hiring people that were hungry to win together. Not people that said me and I a lot, but people that said we and us. Not something that would be culture pizza party type thing. You can have hard conversations, but ultimately everybody wants to win together. I think there's almost that expectation that if looking at the resume, you had the capability, but now did you fit the mindset of being results driven and team playing and wanting to build something that was special to many people versus just your own empire?
Right. How do you guys divide roles as co-founders?
Well, I do none of running the business. And that's about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So John, how do you divide your role?
I think early on we had to, find out where both of our strengths were.
Yeah.
And Tom has an incredible vision of what BERO should be, but then on top of that, what he represents.
Sure.
So when we're ideating, like, doesn't matter if he's filming in, Morocco, like, we're texting each other ideas, we're aligning on points. And I think over time we've kind of figured out, like, where are the points of inform, where are the points of involve, but, like, just trust each other, and, ultimately it's a good sounding board than it is necessarily saying, like, Tom, this is a creative decision, help me. It's more, Tom, this is an idea, how do we make this better?
Yeah, and it's all about delegating and allowing people that do what they do best to do what they do best,
Right.
And I have been so appreciative of our team for the rapid education I've had into running a business and to keeping something like this going. John and I are on the phone every couple days, whether it's catching up, discussing ideas, dreaming about the future of what it could be. And for me, working with Jackie and our creative team is really where I kind of come into my own. This brand is a true representation of who I am. So a lot of what I'm doing is steering our team down the path that remains authentic to the original message of the company.
Yeah, and I think you're selling yourself a little short, Tom, because I know you were absolutely engaged in all the product development, and now you're definitely showing up. And I think what's really unique here is we've done a lot of brands with celebrities, and I think your brand has rewritten the rules on how a celebrity launches a brand. I mean, a lot of them haven't gone well, and there's reasons for it. There's really two reasons for it. A, they don't find a good operator to partner with. And the second reason is usually the agency creates a deliverables list, and the operator actually has to work through 10 people to get to the talent. The fact what you just said, that you guys are talking all the time and texting all the time, it shows up.
Yeah.
It's really a testament, and it shows how much you actually care about this.
Yeah, well, we're partners.
Yeah.
We're doing this together.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not just for the good moments, right? Like, if we have a disagreement, we'll talk about that too, but it's all about shared vision on where we want to get to.
So is it hard to delegate some areas? Like, do you feel like sometimes, like, I want to get more involved, and like, oh, let me leave it to the business guys?
I like, for example, tomorrow we have our board meeting, and I'm really excited to sit there and be confused for an hour. But like, I really enjoy sitting there and hearing you guys talk about how you're running it and how we're expanding. And I know that I can't offer up, much knowledge in that side of the equation. But when we're talking about our relationship with the consumer, I've been selling movies since I was 13 years old. I've worked with marketing departments for a long time. I really understand how I can connect with my audience.
Right.
So for me, that's kind of where I come into the fold. And obviously designing the can and the flavors, and we have some other things that we're working on at the minute, which we'll release later in the year. But so we're very involved in that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't make any financial decisions or anything like that.
Classic. So you were in the green room, but I mentioned in the opening that non-alc beer is up 26% versus a total beer backdrop, which is down 4%. So you have a category with tailwinds, which everyone here knows how important that is. Timing is so important. John, when you and Doss made the jump from powders to RTD C4, you had that timing wind at your back. It's been absolutely critical, but the other side of that is when a category gets hot, people pile in, and it becomes very crowded. So how are you going to break through in a crowded space? I mean, you already are, but how are you doing that?
The more we lean into those things that Tom hit on, the premium of the brand, the experience of the brand, the lifestyle of the brand, like those are things that right now are very differentiated, and over time will become our moat. Like, nobody will be able to kind of take it on. And ultimately, that's what led to energy drinks growing how they did. You had a Celsius, you had a C4, you had a Ghost, all playing in very different spaces. Like, we need the same thing here. And for a note, that 20% growth you mentioned on the category, in Target, probably the big one that we came out of the gates with, you're seeing growth of over 50%. And highly, highly incremental. So right now, the brand is driving new consumers, which is, that's our North Star.
Right, amazing. So if someone wants to join the BERO team, like, what do you look for in someone that wants to join? Is it the resume? Like, what is it?
The resume, I think there's a few things on the resume. It's, do you have some longevity in your career stops? Do you have a mixture of big business and small? But then after you get through that, like, yes, you want to get through the project and find out what capabilities they actually offer. But I interview on personality. I interview on the culture and like what makes them tick. Probably not the best HR policy, but oftentimes I think of like, if I'm at an airport, because we're on the road a lot, and I'm delayed, because that happens a lot, do I want to share a BERO with this person for 3 hours?
Right.
Because like, then you really start to understand, like, are they going to connect on this overall culture of like what we want to build?
That's great. So, you know, what's one thing you two have learned from each other working together? Because you guys, the brand really brought you together. You didn't know each other before the brand. So what's the thing that you guys have discovered about each other?
I think the thing I love about John and what I've really enjoyed about this process is knowing that it's in such great hands. And it's really his work ethic. I mean, he is tireless in the way that he wants this to be a success. And I feel hugely appreciative because it's so personal to me and my journey into sobriety. And John is a great example of like, you can never work hard enough. And I think that goes, you know, that boils down to every business that you're in, whether it's making movies, building a business from the ground up. And I just love seeing someone operate at the highest level as hard as they can. It's just a really awesome thing to see.
Amazing.
And for Tom, I just think there's this internal brand building and like self-awareness and vision that, quite frankly, for someone that's never built a brand is unparalleled. Like, it's just crazy to have that vision, really think about how all the pieces connect without, you know, 30 years of working in CPG.
Right. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is CPG? Yeah.
In our board meetings, they're banned from using acronyms. Because I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
The first board meeting, he goes, can we add a key to each slide?
Yeah.
So we said we were going to share insights as an industry. There's an insight. Less acronyms, for sure. What's something from BERO that, how's it really challenged you guys? Like, what's challenged you? What's been challenging?
Yeah, I've never truly done a startup from nothing before. You know, one of the conversations Danny and I had when I stepped away from Nutribullet was I didn't view myself as being a startup entrepreneur, and Danny said, you're crazy. You did this with C4, you are. And I think that rewired me, but I think, you know, the interconnectivity of like all the different parties involved. We have a tremendous partner, which I'm really grateful for. Logan is someone in the crowd, along with Sydney from Imaginary. But like being able to make sure all the parties are connected for the journey, I think that has been a very rewarding challenge because there's so much value that comes through these different ideas. But definitely something we work through together.
So Tom, we talked about it earlier, but beverage is a blood sport, as you're probably learning. There's nothing easy about it. So there's a 98% infant mortality rate. So only 2% get to 10 million in revenue, which you guys are on your way. So you've already succeeded by many respects. But has there been anything that's challenged you on your side? Have you gotten any feedback that's hurt, or is there anything that's been challenging?
I think obviously this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and ignorance is bliss, you know, like everything about this experience is new. So I've really kind of just clung on to the excitement of doing something completely new rather than how difficult it is or the work that's gone into building it. Like I said, like we have such an amazing team that have done a lot of the heavy lifting in putting the building blocks together, you know. I've really just kind of been like, maybe that building block should go over there.
Do you ever feel left out? Like, do you ever feel like, you know, like you're on set, you're doing your day job. Do you ever have like FOMO that you're missing? Because I know you care about this so much. Are you ever like, or is that just a call to John and say, what's going on?
Like I said, we're chatting, you know, 2-3 times a week and going through everything. And so I never feel left out. And I'm just really enjoying it. Honestly, this has been like, I used to love, in England, we have this show called The Apprentice, which was like where they get these young entrepreneurs and they set up this, it's like Lord Alan Sugar.
Yeah, we
was
know,
the
we
guy
had it
that
here
did
with Donald Trump.
I know there's another guy that does it here. But I used to really love that show. I used to love the idea of like sitting down and coming up with a business. So to be able to do that myself and to do it with fantastic people that share the passion has been really, really rewarding.
Have you discovered any unexpected like strengths that you have in the beverage business? Your microphone alone is a game changer. We spend years trying to drive awareness and trial, and you can go on Fallon and do it like that. So it's almost like a cheat code. But is there anything else beyond that that you've discovered, like, man, I'm okay at this?
I mean, not to sound corny, but it's about turning your weaknesses into your strengths. Like, I used to drink a lot of beer. And
So your strength is drinking a lot of beer.
yeah, I used to drink a lot of beer, and you know, it was a weakness of mine. And when we were developing these SKUs and trying to figure out the flavor profiles and how we wanted them to taste, I knew what I was missing from the non-alcoholic beers that were on the market because I was someone that was a true consumer. So I think I brought to the table a real authenticity of like what I think these drinks should taste like.
Right.
And I think that was a real, you know, driving force for what we ended up with.
I think, you know, research is wonderful, but intuition, like that,
Yeah.
that's a differentiator, and like I think the intuition was there.
I love it. So, Tom, if your younger self, maybe the kid who first auditioned for Spider-Man, could see you now at Beverage Forum, you know, what would surprise you most about this journey?
I'd be like, Beverage Forum? I don't know. I probably would be slightly concerned about the idea of like, oh, it would be the beginnings of understanding that I had an alcohol problem.
Right.
Which I think would be an interesting thing to learn at a young age.
Wow.
But
When
no,
did
I
you
would
start
just
drinking,
be,
if you don't mind me asking?
I was pretty young.
Pretty young.
We're from Britain, so it's different. You know? But I think I would just be really excited. I mean, if you told young me that I was going to be Spider-Man, I would never have believed you.
Right.
So to be here today is pretty awesome.
Awesome. So let's spend the last part of our time talking about the future of BERO. What's next? Going global? I mean, your brand is global, so obviously.
Well, we launched the UK in the middle of January, which you don't find many brands that are, you know, 4 months in the market doing that. I really want to focus on how we maximize the UK and maximize the US first and foremost. Global aspirations, though, I think one of the beautiful things about the category is the US is actually at its infancy compared to much of Europe. So there might be just low-hanging fruit opportunities that if we can figure that out, and soon we'll be brewing, you know.
So was that a hard choice to go to the UK because you know that it's gonna work there? You got Tom who's there all the time.
Yeah.
But this is a big country, right? Yeah. That you need focus on. So how did you like actually pull the trigger and say we're going to the UK?
I think I was early on pretty skeptical of global expansion just because at Nutrabolt we had 125 countries, and as we were going through different, you know, expansion opportunities, the return on each incremental market was a little bit less. So I was a little skeptical. I was all about limit bandwidth, keep focus. But then as we're going down the path, I mean, naturally, Tom, as a following there, we launch, I think 20-25% of our social and email was coming from the UK. Our #1 market, bigger than New York, was London.
Really?
So all of the momentum was pushing there. And then you read about the category, and the development index is just so much superior.
Non-alc beer is way more in demand in
Way
the UK.
more in
It's
demand
still
there.
growing here.
That's right. It's still growing very quickly there, but it's a larger percent of the pie than it might be here.
Wow, interesting. So Tom, do you have any aspirations of having a physical space, a tap room with axe throwing or anything like that?
I mean, I would love to. You know, we've spoken at length about the idea of building a BERO members club and, you know, a place in each city, you know, where people can go and if you don't drink, you can feel at home, and if you do drink, you can go and have a drink and socialize, you know. So we would love to build something like that one day. It's probably a little bit down the line. You know, we've had conversations about partnerships with different people, but yeah, we'll get there one day for sure.
So this isn't an acronym, but it's a little inside baseball beverage nerd stuff. Have you heard of the term zebra striping?
No.
So, because you just said if people are drinking, great. If they're not, great. But what we're seeing is something called zebra striping, where people are in the same occasion drinking and not drinking.
Yes.
The same person. So I'll have a beer, then I'll mix it up with a non-alc beer, right? So they're not hammered by the end of the night. I think it's really interesting. So what would be the ultimate beer collab if you could pick one?
I mean, we have some pretty exciting ones that we're working on right now.
Any news to break at Beverage Forum?
I mean, I'm known for spoiling things, so I'm gonna really.
I thought I had him.
I'm gonna really keep my mouth shut. But we're working with some really exciting partners right now, and we're innovating in new ways. We're branching into, you know, different products in really, really fun ways, which I'm really enjoying. Yeah. So we've got some fun stuff coming this year.
Way to tease us, Tom. Thank you. So what advice would you give to other creatives, people in your field, you know, about starting a business outside their main industry?
For me, it would just be like, ask yourself the question of like, why are you doing this? And for me, there was a real strong reason to do this beyond, being part of a business venture. I really think that there is a need for products like this to help people, whether it's drink less or drink nothing at all. I think it's a really, really important thing. And for me, I know that my journey would have been a lot easier had I found something like this.
Wow.
And I just felt like it was an important thing to do beyond the kind of business side of it. Obviously, that's the icing on the cake. But yeah, I just would ask yourself why. And if you're doing it because your agent's like, you're going to make a fat check,
right.
It's probably not the right thing to do.
Which takes a lot of self-discipline, because a lot of your counterparts take the fat check.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. And the brands don't work as a result. So let's finish up with this. So I want to hear what you think the legacy of BERO will be for you, but I also want to know about how does it fit into your total legacy? Like, how important is this, like, when you're in a rocking chair one day?
For me, BERO represents a lifestyle, and it's about inclusion, and it's about people feeling comfortable in social environments, which is something I really struggled with when I got sober. If we can build this brand and it represents that for its lifetime, then I really think that would be something to be incredibly proud of. Not only does it look great and it tastes great and we're really proud of it, but I'm more proud of like what it represents and how it can help people. And if that messaging can stay strong and stay central, then I think we will have achieved what we set out to do.
That's amazing. I want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Everybody, Tom Holland, John Herman, BERO. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
That was awesome, man. That's so good.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, Chris.
Great.